Outside of wrestling and like being in an airport, what was the reaction just in general that you were feeling from like the media?
What do you mean?
I just feel like, especially towards the end, there was a lot of heat from people outside of the wrestling world.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. I don't know. It was in Time magazine. Like, it was a little bit like, wow, this is a really big deal. Wrestling was wrestling, and it's always supposed to be, a work and a show and a story, but this transcended that story. And suddenly we were in the news and on TV. I was on the local news back in Syracuse at one point without even identifying me as being from Syracuse because of that character and what had happened. Really what that got a lot of attention was once the news came out that played in London the day of the bombing. And that was kind of where the news story began. And then the pressure came after that, but it was wild, man.
What was the conversation that day when they told you like, we can't do this anymore?
God. So I remember when we didn't know where we were going to go with it. I remember when they were getting a lot of pressure, the character was going to change or come off of TV. And I remember talking to Johnny Ace, who was head of talent relations at the time. And I was like, any idea what's going on? And I said something like, I'm about to buy a house. And he's like, don't buy the house. Oh. And that's when I knew. I was like, okay. And I didn't know what was going to happen after that. But after that, it was pretty quick. We couldn't even be on TV anymore. We did the pay-per-view with Undertaker in Buffalo, and then that was it. They wouldn't even put the character back on TV in any capacity.
The last ride through the stage, right? Or off the stage?
It was through the stage. So I figured this out at a later date. But the first time I ever appeared in a WWE ring was at a house show in Louisville, Kentucky when I was in OVW. And I was Mark Magnus, and I ran into the ring during Undertaker's match, and he choke slammed and powerbombed me. And then I think it's cool that the last thing I ever did in the WWE, my last move was the choke slam, which I took horribly, by the way. And
last ride
through the top there. Yeah. So it's kind of bookends, you know what I mean?